So Roger, we look at this year and you coming back 6 months off. Just talk about, for you, did it free you up at all, sort of the lack of expectation or not really knowing what to expect this Australian Open?
I think from the third round on it did. I think the first two rounds, of course, I wasn't quite used to the conditions yet, because match situations are different to any practice that you've had previously. Even the Hopman Cup, it helped me to get ready for the first couple of rounds, but the pressure you then have, in a Grand Slam play is just different. So I struggled with that in the very beginning, but was able to then free myself when round three came around, and I understood exactly how the ball's flying into the corners, how they're sliding, how they're kicking. And then once I figured it all out and I played this great match against Berdych, I think from that moment on I was like actually believing that something was possible here, that maybe I could beat actually Nishikori. But then probably if I were, then that probably would be it, if I would have to play Murray. But I kept on rolling, playing really great tennis, and now I almost can't believe it. I am in the finals, but it's very exciting talking about it at least.
The mindset around that, there's obviously a lot of hype around you and Rafa playing in that final. So how do you, I guess, clear your mind and be able to approach it as just another match, or do you not approach it like that? Do you have to sort of give it a special category?
I mean, I think it's definitely very special also for us, and it will taste so much sweeter because it is, the other guy across the net for both of us. So I'm very much aware of it. Of course, the first 24 hours after my win against Wawrinka was all about recovery, happiness to be in the finals, still looking back at a super successful comeback. So all of that, and then ever since I started watching Rafa against Dimitrov late last night, that's when you start preparing for the finals. And I looked at it and I thought it was the match of the tournament. It was an incredible feat by Rafa, but also Grigor. I'd like to point out how great and how he left everything out on court. He showed incredible heart. It was a beautiful match to watch. I didn't expect myself to sit there for 5 hours, but I did, and I didn't miss a beat. And I think it puts me in the right mindset come Sunday. I know it's going to be tough, and I know Rafa's going to recover, and it's going to be a tricky match. It feels like 2009, where he went through a brutal 5-setter against Verdasco, came back on finals day and played another brutal 5-setter against me and ended up winning. So I hope that this time around luck's going to come my side.
When you look at him across the net, sort of the impression of playing him in 2017, what impresses you most, or what are you sort of in awe of Rafael Nadal, and what, obviously people in awe of you, but what are you in awe of him?
Well, just again, another comeback for him as well. It might be not as big of a comeback than that he's done in previous years, where he's really come back of some sort of a long-term injury, but he did have a very rocky 2016 as well, having to pull out at one point at the French Open, which he will only do if basically something's really wrong with him. Then pulling out of Wimbledon yet again, which he's done sometimes in the past. Then not playing for the last 3 months of the season. I saw him in that period, when I was in Mallorca to see him. And so I think that's impressive yet again, how easy he makes it seems to come back. I know you have to put in, again, another heroic effort, and he's playing as good as he ever has, I guess. So it's just nice to see that with our best games and also with Rafa's best game, he's still able to weather the younger generation.
You've had some great wins against him, but overall sort of the rivalry has been in his hands. He's got the upper edge. So how do you manage that, as far as, does history play a role, or do you sort of push that out of your mind and decide this is a new match against a player that you know so well?
Yeah, I mean, it is a new match, and the thing is, this one's definitely going to feel a bit different because we just have played so little in the last few years. It's not like back in the day where we played almost every second weekend against one another, and there was this really momentum being built up all the way to the French throughout the clay court season, and then into the grass court season, and then usually it would fade away for the end of the season, but we used to play tons of times during the year, and this hasn't happened in recent times. So we have to remember a little bit how it used to be, and for me, obviously, I'm going to remember my wins because I did have also a lot of wins against him, even in Grand Slam finals. I know he's leading by a big margin there, but that's okay. I can push those aside and think about the wins, and I got to go really in with a positive, winning sort of mindset, and also remember how well I've actually played this tournament, and that the surface could play in my favor too, and I got to make the most of it.
And lastly, just very short here, as far as the rest of the world, I don't know how much you're aware of just everyone around the globe talking about a Roger Rafa final. What sort of impression does that have on you, the global impact the two of you have had?
Well, I mean, I guess it's all good, you know, that they're talking good about it, and it's nice that they're talking about tennis on a global level in sports or even beyond. So I think we've done a lot for the game. Rafa's been one of the most popular players that we've had, you know, in tennis. Really, he's done tremendous, and I've tried a lot myself. And because we've both been in the game for almost 15, 20 years now, a lot of people know us. So, and they look to us. We're completely different people, completely different players. I think this matchup is just very intriguing for a lot of sports fans. So I hope a lot of people are going to tune in. I hope that we can live up to the expectations. And in previous times when we did play, I was never quite sure, like, is it really that important of a tennis match? It just is a tennis match, but I understand the importance of it, and actually this time around I really feel like I'm embracing it in the right way, and that's why I hope I'm really going to play good tennis tomorrow.